people become cold-hearted. I'm witnessing a divorce right now. And the craziest thing is my own homie's like, yo, I feel like the person that I'm divorcing is a 180 from the person that I married. It's not even the same person.
Probably.
Right? It's like I don't even know who this person is. So when I look at these situations and I'm like, okay, now my life is in your hands, and God forbid we had that type of turmoil where this feelings and emotions have now been created, or opinions, I don't trust that in a rocky situation, in a rocky marriage, in a negative, ending marriage or soon to be ending marriage, I don't know if I trust my spouse to make a decision on a life or death for me, especially if there's, like I said, some type of incentive behind it. And now you have to trust somebody who no longer looks at you and cares about you the same way y'all started or the same way y'all built. And you don't know what's going to happen in people are human. See, that's why Rome gets, a lot of the love, because Rome can accept somebody being imperfect, right? And he can accept their flaws. A lot of people can accept certain flaws that might come out later on in life because they didn't sign up for that flaw. They didn't sign up for the potential of them doing them this way or treating them this way or becoming a person that they don't align with. So that's what happens when you have these long marriages, because people will become people throughout this time. And then some people don't trust that person. I trusted you from year 1. I don't trust you at year 25. I don't trust you at year 25. And it could be my fault. No, it could be like, yo, I just didn't do what I needed to do to make you the type of person, or make you be a person that really cares about me. Maybe I was an asshole. Maybe you just changed. It could be either or.
So what's the solution to that? Like, you're married, you're with this person 25 years.
Yeah.
Like what do you do?
But like, and that's
because
yeah,
if they're your spouse, they're gonna be,
privy.
They're gonna have a certain level of authority to make decisions about you and assets and stuff like that. So my question is just, what do you do?
I mean, well, legally I can't do anything, right? So, but I mean, what I would propose is, let's say if you do have a sibling, I do think that it should be more than one person's decision, is my personal opinion. If your parents are alive, they should have a say so. If they're not alive, maybe your closest siblings, or maybe somebody that you can write down as one of your closest friends, and they have maybe a vote. I'm not saying this example, but let's just say, for example, Alan and Yumi for the next 10 years decides to hate each other's guts. Something happens to Alan. I know, and I'm not saying Yumi would ever do this, but hypothetically, Yumi's like, fuck that nigga, pull the plug, right? I'm about to run it.
He had a good life.
Yeah. I'm about to produce this shit now, nigga. But Alan has brothers and sisters that are around the same age that may have a better interest when those type of things transpire. So I do think it should be a collective of, people that you select to make a decision on your life or death specifically. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's not how this shit works.
Hey, them as siblings are not putting up with you as a spouse. Like, you behave differently with a spouse than you do with your siblings. Like, your spouse gets a totally different person.
I mean, I don't know. Y'all better put my sisters in that room.
But that's my thing. Wait, if you're not married, how are you stuck?
Yeah.
That's a bar.
A baby, nigga? A baby would stick with you.
A baby will stick with you.
A baby is worse than a document. I tell you that right now.
Hello?
Fuck that. Like,
Is this thing on?
Is this thing on? A baby is you really stuck. Nigga, you stuck. Even if you don't want to be stuck.
But I think that you can have boundaries when it's parents of the child that don't want to necessarily interact with each other.
So
who's got boundaries?
The parents that don't want to interact with each other.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I
work
hate
like
those
that.
kind of stories.
It sounds good, but
Okay. Let me speak. My parents split up when I was young, so I'm speaking from my personal experience. I really try to stay out. I say stay out of grown folks' business. Like, I don't care to know what went on with them. X, Y, and Z. But as far as like how they conducted themselves with respect to me, it seemed, yeah, I won't even say cordial. It seemed just what it is. They weren't necessarily, I think, say if they needed to have an argument or if they were beefing or whatever, it wasn't happening in front of me. It wasn't, if it didn't matter what I needed, my dad wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm not buying it for her because you might go and get your nails done.
Yeah.
Like that was, no, I can guarantee you that my daddy wouldn't like, he'd be like, well, I guess you gotta get her nails done, but my kid need X. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's a way to co-parent and not be best friends and really probably not get along, but just like here's the kid, drop them off, pick them up. Are you feeding them good? Like I
agree.
and I know that my parents, but I know that my parents didn't have like an ideal situation. Like I know it ain't something that's a novel. It's just, I think that there was just a certain level of, I guess, an agreement that they made to like try to just keep things copacetic, in order to make sure I wasn't affected in a particular way. Oh, well, to make sure that I wasn't like negatively impacted in a particular way.
Well, here's the thing I would say, and although I definitely I agree with Aaron, the only thing is I can't speak for every situation because sometimes you don't know what one person puts another person through.
Right, yeah.
Right? And some people put somebody through hell. So to be cordial or to come to a common ground with somebody who put you through certain, pits and fires of hell is very hard. And maybe it's something they should do, but you might have attachment to some things that this person did to you that you haven't been able to forgive yet. And I can only think about it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't experienced it myself, but I do have friends who, like, they have kids with women who done the most grimiest shit in the world, and they still had to look at her on that Friday to pick up their son and restrain themselves, right? Because like people do,
But like that's what being an adult is. Like we don't, as adults, we don't get to like act on every impulse that we have. I might want to go in the office and slap a bitch tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I can't.
But if she spit on you,
well
then it's on.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Some people,
no.
Some people are getting spit on.
That's
though.
different. Like that's, first of all, that means that's a battery.
Yeah.
And now I can actually retaliate like legally. But what I'm saying is that we all have, as an adult, you don't just like kids. If you don't get that nine later, you could just bust out on the floor and like start crying and going around in circles. As an adult, we don't get to do that.
No, what I'm saying is that sometimes there's situations where the reason why it ended, and this is just a figure of speech, is because somebody spat on someone. That's
physically,
why. No, figure of speech, like
okay.
that level of.
No, they did something really bad, no, and
right?
I get that.
So, and it's like sometimes they didn't just get spat on once.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been multiple times, and they've been enduring it just to try to keep the peace. Right? And now you push like this. The thing is, we can talk about it, but it's not realistic. I would say that is poetic because when somebody is pushing you to the fucking edge, and they have your child, and they pushing you off, and they didn't push you off, you done fell, and you got back up, and they pushed you again. Right? And some people, I think it's hard to be cordial now. I don't think that is every situation. Yes, I do agree. There has to be a way to find a common ground. However, it's not realistic when you can't even stomach somebody's presence.
But what do you do? That's my question. Like, you can't stomach their presence, but you still, I hope you still want to see your kid. Like, what do you do?
So I tell you, the only thing I can tell you that I experience is you call your best friend who is realistically the godfather of your child to go pick up your son. Right?
That works.
But you get what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, it only works for so long. Because now I'm not there. You still got to go get him.
Well, but it's easier
know what I'm
as
saying?
they get older.
No, it ain't. No, the fuck. Look at Rome. Rome, I know a
No,
little bit.
his kid is 5.
No, but it's Rome. Could you please?
I cannot.
You're the only one that can speak from personal experience.
Watch me not.
But wait, what?
I bet you won't.
I bet you won't.
So I can only speak from a perspective from the outside looking in. But and I can sit here and say my friend this, my friend that, but I also don't know entirely what he may have did, or to call certain things. No, he didn't do that. She was a dirtbag too.
So I'm sorry to cut you off. To answer your question is you find a way to do what needs to be done,
Right.
regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, somebody has to be the bigger person, and that bigger person doesn't look for the other person who they're trying to be the bigger person to acknowledge that they're being the bigger person, because you'll never get that, and you have to be okay with that day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
So that person that you didn't know before isn't the same person. Like, you have to realize that relationship's over. That person is dead to you. So you have to do what's best with what you have to work with. You have to make what's best with what you got. And how he said, how you get your best friend to pick up your kid or whatever the case may be. You figure out a way.
And that's what I'm saying. So like, if you have like some sort of intermediary to do these things, like, what's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is how it's very simple for us to say you get your best friend or you do this, when that opposing side says, oh, no, you can't do that. You have to see me.
Yep.
I'm going to make sure you do it this way.
How about this? It's been said. It's been said that dumb men get the wrong woman pregnant. Thoughts, opinions?
I actually don't know, I guess because you hear a lot where men are saying, oh, women choose better. They're telling women to choose better. So I think that it's probably not a man or a woman thing. It's probably just a person thing. I can see where some people drop the ball and ignore all the signs, the red flags, everything, and you end up being with somebody that's not good for you or good for the kid you eventually have. But I can also believe that there are people who do not show them their true selves until later. Like, you think, okay, a year in, okay, I know this person, I know they vibe, like we're good. But then people change, so I think with respect to those situations, how do you avoid it?
That's a fact. Security will make you take your mask off. Once you feel secure in your position, whatever that is, you just start watching things just fall apart. Yeah, or not. Because we've said this many times on this podcast or talk show, 8 at the table. Hashtag 8 at the table, right?
Network
the voice,
television.
voices, and we
Pay-per-view.
all of the above, right? Where basically like guys would play the romantic, Prince Charming role until he gets the box, then he becomes an asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, right? That's the same thing. Like, once you secure your spot or you got what you wanted to get,
Yeah, okay.
now your mask comes off. There's women who will pretend to be like the greatest woman or potential wife, and then once she gets a ring, stops doing everything she did to get it, right? Or gets a baby, and then shit stops too, So I do think that Alan often talks about control, and when somebody finally feels like they're in full control, I think it's dangerous, whether you're a woman or a man. And that's why it's important to make sure that you set yourself up in a way where you can protect yourself no matter what happens in your relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or just for a wedding don't lock you in like a baby. Like, let me explain that. A baby lock you in, bro. A wedding, come, go. You lose some money. You make the money back. If you were able to make the money the first time, you make it again.
I don't know, that debt be locking niggas in.
Yeah, that debt is fucked up, but a baby debt is that shit.
Sometimes that money only comes around once.